would you rather, as a receiver, them draft one of these guys high and you can grow with them, hopefully, for years and years, or would you rather them bring in like a vet that, let's just say Sam Darnold?
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Wisdom Wednesday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. The wisdom today comes courteous of Malik Nabers. What a rookie season he had for the New York Giants. Phenomenal job by Joe Schoen picking him. I know, listen, I've been as critical of Joe Schoen, the Giants GM, as just about anyone, but pretty clearly they nailed that pick. He's the most dynamic player, at least receiver, that the Giants have had in quite some time. Wanted to talk to him about his rookie year and really, as much as anything else, about what he wants at the quarterback position moving forward with the Giants having that number 3 overall pick. There's other news to get to, certainly as it relates to the franchise tag. The Dolphins are cutting guys. The Panthers, speaking of quarterbacks, made a move at quarterback. We'll get to all of that a little bit later in the show, and I'll give you guys an update on the email questionnaire I sent out. Love those of you that spread the word via social media, at Ross Tucker NFL or at Ross Tucker Pod. We'll have winners tomorrow already on the Greg Cosell Thursday episode, with us being 3 times a week here in the offseason. Take advantage of any of our sponsors that you ever hear on the show, including like westshorehome.com/Ross. I'm a big fan of those guys and the work they do. And then the YouTube shout out, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Get cool stuff for doing what you're going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, just head to the website, snap a photo of your receipt, and upload it instantly to rack up points for exclusive merch. I love this. Get points for every purchase at any store, bar, or stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you're buying Labatt. Buy Beer, Get Gear. Go to rewards.labattusa.com to sign up. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
Happy to be joined by Malik Nabers now, coming off an awesome rookie season. I said this before we started the interview. It's not supposed to be that easy, man. I mean, even your first couple games, I thought, wow, he's not your average rookie. Did you think it would be that easy?
I'm glad I made it look easy because it sure wasn't easy, but it was a challenge every week. I had a great, offensive coordinator trying to give me the ball. Appreciate Brian Dable for, moving me around, trying to showcase my talent early on in the season.
So I think I did the Raiders-Browns game on CBS the week after you guys played the Browns.
Yeah.
Man, that was impressive. I mean, because they had good corners.
Yeah, they had some
and there was multiple contested catch situations.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys don't win that game if you don't go up and make some of the plays you did. That was super impressive.
Appreciate it.
Let's move on to some other topics. And I want to start with this. How'd you guys ever lose any games at LSU? With you, Brian Thomas, and Jayden Daniels?
I'm glad y'all starting to notice. But, we was probably the number 1 offense coming out that year.
Yeah.
Defense was like 123rd.
Yeah, no, I know.
So,
I'm just busting your chops.
Yeah, Coach Dave always say that every time he see me. He's like, I don't understand how y'all didn't win a national championship. I'm like, the defense gave up 50 points. He said, well, you scored 60. I said, we did. I said, well, yeah, but I don't know how we didn't, though.
When did you know, and you probably get asked about him all the time, you're probably sick of it, but when did you know that Jayden was like this good?
All right, so I'm glad you asked me that. So after he came, it was my sophomore year. We was going into the spring. And
that was his first year there?
Second year.
Oh, his second year.
Yeah,
okay.
His second year there. So going into his last year, we in spring. And we have we got football school, he's leading the practices on after we do, runs.
Yep.
And I seen like a shift after he left, after it was like time to go home, back to your family. I guess, I heard he went work out with CJ Stroud and those guys,
okay.
Back in California. But when he came back, like you just noticed like a shift in his game. Like, he was way more confident. He gave us way more opportunities to make plays with the football. I think he knew his talent once he got there. He just, he wasn't used to that kind of talent. Not saying anything about those guys that he was playing with
Right.
at Arizona State. I'm just saying, it's different when you come to LSU and you got some receivers like that. So he started, noticing that. Everybody was asking me, what we going to do at quarterback. Will Nuss play? Will Jayden play? And I was like, no, Jayden is playing. And it was like, I don't know. And I was like, no. He's going to be different this year. Y'all going to see. And when he made that shift, it was no surprise for me because how hard he worked. He would wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, go watch film. Sometimes he would bring me up, but I'm a junior, man. I got class to go to, and I got workouts, so I can't be up at 5 a.m. He don't got nothing to do. So, when he was watching film, he seen a lot of, tendencies in that defense. He helped me out in certain time where I was learning the defense. So, once he did that, it was no surprise.
That's actually really interesting. He very clearly that year, if you guys were one-on-one, he was giving you a chance.
Right.
And I think that's more of playing the position than people realize is, like, if you have dogs, like, just give them a chance in that situation. They're going to make you right more often than not. Because he did that even with McLaurin and some of the guys this year for the Commanders.
Yeah.
Does it bum you out that he's in your division? You're going to play against him twice every year?
Yeah, it kind of do. I hate his trash talk. So it really bums me out. I gotta step up my game and win some games against him.
What was the game? I saw something where you were like, I saw a video on social media that you were all happy for him. I don't know what game it was, but you post something about you were so happy about.
Yeah,
was it the Lions game maybe?
It was the Tampa Bay game. I went to that playoff game.
Just as a fan.
Right. Yeah. As my brother, it's not just my football friend. That's my actual brother. Like,
got it.
People don't understand the relationship that us three have. Actually, us four. Including Kyron. He's not here, but he's not in the league right now. But the relationship that we gathered when we was at LSU is bigger than football. So if I can go have the opportunity to support my my best friend, while he's playing a football game, that's his first year. He's about to play a playoff game. We know extremely how important that is. So for him to have his buddies there, watching him, it was great.
Do you have have you watched any of the rookie quarterbacks? Have you watched Cam Ward? Have you watched Shedeur Sanders? Do you have opinion on watching those guys?
I watched some film on those guys for sure. Extremely talented, extremely, dogs, got grit, wants to win, wants to lead a team to, a lot of accomplishments. But I don't know, man. It's something different about both of those guys. When they competing against each other, you see online all the time. They always competing against each other, and I like that. I like that competitive mindset. I'm not sure, what the draft going, what the draft going to be, but we'll see.
Would you rather, as a receiver, would you rather them draft one of these guys high, and you can grow with them hopefully for years and years? Or would you rather them bring in like a vet that, let's just say Sam Darnold or someone that had a pretty good year last year and you already kind of know what you're getting?
I would say probably both. I mean, exactly like you say, you rather have a young guy where you can grow with, and a veteran that, you can play with early on. He knows what's going on.
Got it.
But that rookie also can learn from that vet.
That's a good point.
So when he comes in, it's not like, here, you're the savior of the team. Here,
like Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, or Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. It makes the level, it makes that you're not so nervous about what you get into. Having that just going into this season, I'm going to use myself as an example. I wasn't the savior of the team, so I didn't have that kind of pressure on me. Did I have pressure? Yeah, I was a 6th overall pick, but it wasn't like that kind of pressure that the quarterbacks have.
Right.
You're trying to change the franchise. You coming in, they don't have no quarterback there. You have to change this franchise around. I don't want that on a younger guy, a young QB. That can mess up their mind. You start hearing that, you're a buzz, they should never pick you. It kind of brings you down. So I'd rather have a vet that can teach that rookie, and then when his time comes,
Do you have a rivalry at all with Marvin Harrison Jr. in the sense that he got picked before you? Like, did you watch his stats this year? Was it important to you to have a better season than him? Because I thought that was actually one of the coolest parts of Hard Knocks was when Mike Groh, they said, who would you rather have, Harrison Jr. or Nabers? He said, oh, Nabers. Like, there was no hesitation They wanted you, and they got you, and you obviously had a better year. Did that bother you? Is there motivation there or not really? You're a competitor, right? You want to be the best.
Yeah, like I don't have anything against him personally.
Yeah.
But that football mindset is different. I'm competing with him. He plays the position same as me.
Yeah.
Like you said, I watch his stats every game. I watch it. I watch everybody's stats. I'm sorry, that's just who I am. But him specifically, coming out, he went before me. I went after him, and it was a talk. We were head to head going at it. Blendikoff, he won it. It's always been that head to head.
Yeah, he got a lot of the stuff that you wanted.
Right.
And maybe deserved.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Hopefully, God bless me in years to come. While I'm on top.
All right, what are the biggest things you want to improve on this offseason going into year 2? Like what watching now that you know what the pro game's like. Now you got a season under your belt. Where do you feel like you can make strides?
Being an actual route runner. When I watched the clips, over this year, I kind of rushed a lot of things.
You rushed a lot of things.
I rushed a lot of routes.
Your route, so you didn't really snap it off.
Right. I didn't really get busy in the routes.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of time back there, and I knew, I was the first option. I got to get open fast for DJ.
Yeah.
Or anybody that was a QB. But, also the second thing is probably maintaining my body health. Getting my body right. I had a lot of nicks. It was something every week that I was going through. So just trying to keep my body healthy during the season. It's a pretty long season. You got spring, you got summer, you got fall. So, trying to keep my body at trying to get a layout of what next year what I want to do with my body.
And the best way to stay in great shape is to eat Popeyes?
Oh. I'm trying to stop that.
No, but tell me about Popeyes, man. It's funny. They got a game day bundle. What's that all about?
Game day bundle is an opportunity for you to have 24 wings.
Nice.
3 side orders. You get 4 dipping sauce.
Okay.
You get you gotta get the biscuits with that. So it's an opportunity to get a lot of food. And it's only $24.99.
I'm embarrassed. I have not had a chicken sandwich yet at Popeyes, and there's one right by my house. I've done we go to Chick-fil-A all the time, but I haven't done like a sandwich at Popeyes because that's a battle. Which one has the better chicken sandwich? I'm sure you're gonna say Popeyes, but Popeyes like a little crispier, right?
Yeah, I used to go crazy with that in high school for sure. I used to go get that every time it was lunch. Give me a Popeyes chicken sandwich.
We had to when I was playing. When I was a rookie, the vets made us get Popeyes for the plane for every away game.
It's the same way with me now too.
Really?
I'm doing the same. I was doing the same thing.
Spurrier was our coach in Washington in 2002. He hated it.
Oh, I know Spurrier.
Yeah, he hated it because he didn't think that's what you should be eating the day before the game. So he gave a speech about how we shouldn't be getting Popeyes the day before a game. He's like, have that on Monday or Tuesday.
Nah, when you see me going crazy, you just like, he done ate some Popeyes.
Awesome. Hey, Malik, congrats on an incredible rookie year. It was so fun to watch you out there. Excited to see what you get to do in year 2.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys know all year I've been telling you about Smirnoff, not only as an official sponsor of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, but also an official vodka partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59. The best part about Smirnoff, by far, is that you can get the world's #1 vodka without breaking the bank. Okay, this is key. You don't need to pay a lot of money for expensive vodka. This feeling is what the good folks over at Smirnoff call Smirnoff Extraordinary. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer and may vary by state. Please do not share with anyone who is under legal drinking age.
Tuck's Takes.
All right, Ross, the biggest news of note is Andy Dalton. He signed a 2-year, $8 million deal to stay in Carolina.
Happy for him. Happy for Andy. He was at the broadcasting, I guess they call it the workshop now. They used to call it the broadcast boot camp. last April. So I got a chance to hang out with Andy a decent amount. Guess he's not looking to be a broadcaster anytime soon. Which, by the way, Andy, if you're listening or watching youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL, I would say you're doing the right thing, my friend. I mean, we've talked about it before, Jack. I don't know how much I've talked about it with you. The benefits are so significant that not only is it great to make $4 million a year to be a backup quarterback, although he knows fully well he's a play away from going in and playing the whole season, but not only is it great to make $4 million a year as a backup quarterback, but especially with as long as Andy's been playing, it just stacks on top of each other with the 401k, which the NFL 200% matches, the annuity, the severance payment when you're done, the health savings account. There's a lot of benefits, not to mention the pension, not to mention another year of insurance. There's just a lot of reasons for guys to continue playing, and you love the game and you want to keep playing. He can always get into broadcasting later. Plus, I don't really need guys coming after my jobs, okay? There's not a huge market for former journeyman offensive linemen that are balding and played 15 years ago, all right? So, stay away, Andy. Just do something else other than I'm kidding. Andy's going to be a terrific broadcaster if he wants to be. But am I happy that he's going to keep playing? Sure. Keep playing, Andy. Knock yourself out.
Miami cut a couple veterans, including Raheem Mostert, cornerback Kendall Fuller, and tight end Durham Smythe to save some cap space.
Oh, man. That was an amazing one. Say Smythe's first name again.
Durham?
Okay.
Which one is it?
How old are you again?
24.
Have you ever heard a guy named, spelled Durham, his name be Durham before?
I've never met anybody whose name's spelled Durham in general.
Okay, have you heard of a town spelled Durham?
No.
Okay.
Because I would have pronounced it correctly if I did know the town.
Okay, so you've never watched a Duke basketball game?
I don't really watch college basketball.
That's
unbelievable. March Madness, I will, whatever game's close, but that's really the extent of it. I've never really been
you've never heard them say Durham, North Carolina?
Maybe, but clearly not enough to register. There's a lot of cities in America, Ross.
I know, but Durham, North Carolina. I mean, it's where
I've
Duke
heard Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's called Raleigh-Durham. That's like the area. It's the Raleigh-Durham airport.
Well, I've got half of it. Oh.
Wow. So that's amazing on a lot of levels. I mean, it is so interesting how the closer you live to a city, like you're kind of like almost a city. You're a suburb kid, but you're a city kid. The less you care about college sports, and the more it's just the city. Like you're into the Sixers and the Eagles, and it's funny because I do think like the further away you get from a major metropolitan area, the more you're into college sports. Although, I don't know. How far are you from, like, Lincoln Financial Field?
On a good day, like 45 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm from Reading, which on a good day, it's like an hour 10, maybe. So it's not that much of a difference. You're not like living in South Philly. At any rate, it's Durham Smythe, which I'll just say this. I don't know if he's going to keep playing or sign with anybody. I want everyone to know this, hear this on the show right now. And no offense to the Smythe family. If he signs somewhere, he's Durham from now on. I'm calling him Durham with whatever team he signed on. Durham Smythe. So, Mostert was also, by the way, at that broadcast workshop last year. That's a great example right there, by the way. There's a guy that 2 years ago led the NFL in touchdowns, set the franchise record for rushing touchdowns. Gets dinged up a couple times. The next year, he's cut. So just remember this, okay? When guys hold out or whatever, that if a team feels like you're not playing up to what they're supposed to pay you, they're going to cut you, which is their right. That's why it doesn't bother me if a player holds out. The team has their right to find the guy or whatever, and they do. So anyway, Mostert, I think somebody would love to sign him as like a number 2 at this stage. That could be an awesome change of pace back. Like, can you imagine? I think the Eagles might lose Gainwell, Jack. Can you imagine Raheem Mostert behind the Eagles' offensive line with some of the holes that they have. See ya. Like gone, right? Kendall Fuller was only there 1 year. Durham Smythe, I didn't feel like he had a great year. A decent amount of penalties. I think they've got some other tight ends that they like there. So, by the way, that will be a big theme over the next 2 weeks. Teams cutting veterans to free up cap space.
The franchise tag window has officially opened, and it will close on March 4th.
I'm going to make this my Labatt take of the week, Jack. I do one take that I feel strongly about every week. It's brought to you by Labatt. With Labatt, you can buy beer and get gear. Go to their website. Snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to gain points towards exclusive merch, any size, any product, anywhere you're buying Labatt. Sign up at rewards.labattusa.com. I despise the franchise tag, especially this idea that the Bengals would franchise tag T. Higgins for a second time. I hate everything about it. To me, it's like incredibly un-American. Who else out there with your job right now, okay, has a contract that even when it expires, it doesn't really expire. They can just keep you for another year, and then another year after that. You're not allowed to meet with other prospective employers, not allowed to decide where you might want to live. I just don't like it. People, I understand it's collective bargaining. I understand maybe that you could argue the union would make it a higher priority. These rules were put in place before these guys were born, like way before T. Higgins was born. And it's just kind of garbage to me. Maybe I can live with 1 year, but tagging a guy a second year really bothers me.
New York Giants have begun the process to sell 10% of the franchise. Meanwhile, Bengals linebacker Jermaine Pratt has requested a trade.
Right. So the Bengals are kind of a mess right now. You know, there's reports out there that they're hoping to get long-term deals done with Trey Hendrickson, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. I highly doubt that. I mean, I've been watching the Bengals my whole life. I've seen the way they operate. The idea that they're going to, in one offseason, get deals done with all three of those guys feels extremely unlikely to me. Like, extremely unlikely. And I would say, you know, the one good thing about the Bengals is they will hold your feet to the fire. They will not sign you, and they will fine you as much as they can. We've seen that with Carson Palmer or whomever. But Jamar Chase, Trey Hendrickson, some of these guys, if I were them, I would strongly consider, you know, when they have to be there, you know, a hold-in, as they call it now, because those guys are worth so much more, like double what they're scheduled to make this year, let alone T. Higgins. And now you got Jermaine Pratt wants a trade. As for the Giants, a lot of teams are doing this now because they want to get that extra money, which makes sense. And let's say they get an $8 billion valuation, okay? They sell 10%, no controlling interest whatsoever, and they just get $800 million cash. Bang. Which, by the way, is great for them personally, for their personal bank accounts, but also good for Giants fans because maybe they'll use more of that money, you know, for free agents or to lock up their own guys in the form of a signing bonus. It's one reason why teams do it too.
And one final note, Ross, I did see on your Instagram you went skiing over the weekend with your family in Montana. How was it? And thank you for the invite.
Have you ever skied in your life?
No, never.
Yeah, I didn't think so. City kid, city slicker from Horsham or Hatboro. You don't even know which one. How about that? Jack doesn't even know which town he lives in.
It varies by, like, mailing has me in one, like street address has me in another. They're basically the same town. They're the same commute thing.
It explains a lot. I gotta tell you, first of all, we were skiing out, out in Montana. It's like my favorite place in the world. And skiing, I have a good gig, man. I go from 6 months of football hard, really hard. Then I go to ski season because next month in March, I'll go out with my wife's extended family to Utah for a little bit, and I'll meet up with my high school buddies in Colorado. So I don't know, most years I end up getting three stints out west, Montana and Colorado and Utah. obviously incredible with my family. So it's like the only thing I can do post football. You know what I mean? Like golf hurts my back. Even skiing hurts my right knee a little bit. But just to be outside, and it felt like my first weekend, like school's out for summer. You know what I mean? Like not having a gig, just being able to, have some daddy sodas, be with my family. It was incredible. There's nothing better than family time. Someone said to me right now that family time is currency, and that's how I look at it. There's a huge value on it. Let's get to an email, Jack. We don't get to do that very often. I'd love to.
All right, this is from Larry W. in Chicago, or Larry Y, I'm sorry. Hi, Ross. I enjoy listening to all your podcasts. I have a question for you. We've heard a lot about how an offensive line has to gel before they can become proficient in their blocking schemes, allowing for roster changes and injuries. Based on your experience, how long does it take for an O-line to gel? Is it a preseason, training camp, several games, or a season played together? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Larry's from Chicago. I think this question was probably during the season. And Larry, that's a really good question. And the answer is, it really depends on the guys and the coach. There are some guys that are really bright and really work well together, and they can gel sooner than other guys who maybe it takes a little bit more time. It took Jason Peters a decent amount of time before he was actually ready to start NFL games. He ended up becoming a great player. I would think by midway through a year, Larry, they should be in a good spot. And unfortunately for your Bears, that was not the case. But I would say half a year should be more than enough time for those guys to be in a good spot. Good question. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network on Samsung TV Plus, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out Pizza Boy Brewing, Sporticulture, HumanHeadNYC.com, BackOfficeSchedule.com, and of course my beloved MyFrontPageStory.com.